What is going on, my friends? Welcome back to a very, very late edition of the NBA breakdown video from LocksDFS.com. I'm your host, Christian Hardy. I am at BuyHardy on Twitter. I am BuyHardy on DraftKings. And we are going to be breaking down this Monday 11-game NBA slate. Very excited. What is it today? Today is the 28th. We have lots of games. We have a lot of injuries we're still watching. We've gotten news on a few things, but we're still waiting on news on Joel Embiid, who looks like he's going to play. Still waiting on news on Drew Holiday. Lots of other stuff. I wrote them down in my notes. Ricky Rubio, Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson's more probable. Reggie Jackson's doubtful. So with all that said, we're going to be breaking down some interesting situations in terms of who should be get a boost of minutes and who I like tonight on the slate. So before I do that, I wanted to remind you guys to please subscribe. It really helps us out a lot. If you subscribe and you leave a comment on this video, you will be entered to win a free season pass from LocksDFS.com. Just got to leave a comment with your favorite play, favorite GBP play. If you disagree with me, whatever it might be, leave a comment on this video. It really helps us out a lot. And, all you guys out there who've been watching these videos and are subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out a ton. And I am at BuyHardy on Twitter, so follow me there. Follow LocksDFS on Twitter. And then also check us out at LocksDFS.com for our full breakdowns with analysis on every single player, player grades, as well as our stud and value rankings on every single slate. Those will be updated throughout as injuries come out once we post the sheet for the day. So let's go ahead and jump into the slate. I'm going to be mostly looking at DraftKings here. But just going to really want to talk about very first this big over-under that we have on the slate, 237. We've got the Warriors and we've got the Pelicans, two teams that run at a pretty solid pace. Obviously, the Pelicans have been down so far this year at 8th in the league, while the Warriors are 10th. That said, the Pelicans look a lot faster than they've been in the past. I think they're going to continue to run at very, very fast pace if they can, with Lonzo running the point. So I'm very interested in this game. I think the total is reflective of how you should feel about the game. So let's go ahead and talk about some options in it. Firstly, I'm going to talk about the Warriors side, where we have a very important injury in Kevon Looney out. That is going to open up 5 minutes for a few guys. Well, it's going to open up big man minutes in general. I think that Marquise Chris should again start at the 5 here. And then we should have Omari Spellman backing him up, and we should also get a little bit more of the rookie Eric Paschall, who hasn't really got a lot of usage. More of a defensive type. He was really he's a really good post defender in college, but can also shoot his shot and grab rebounds. But I'm really interested in really all these guys here at this price. I mean, I really do think you can play just about any of them. I mean, we're going to see Chris get 23 to 26 minutes, I'd say. He is averaging, I wrote it down here, 1.11 fantasy points per minute. So if he's getting those kind of minutes, if he's even at 20 minutes here, he's crushing this value. I mean, he should be one of the chalkiest players on the slate, in my opinion. We know that he's going to be starting. In preseason, he had a 15% usage, 17% rebound, 24% assist rate. Dude who can kind of do it all. A dude who they probably, honestly, their biggest signing in the off. Oh no, D'Angelo Russell is their biggest signing in the offseason, but their second biggest signing in the offseason. Yeah, I mean, like I think that he makes a ton of sense at that price. I'm surprised he's not priced up. Because we knew that, I'm pretty sure we were pretty positive that Kevon Looney was going to be out, and we also saw Chris start last game. So to get him at this price is honestly just kind of a blessing. Just play him. But that doesn't mean you can't play another guy. I mean, this is the highest paced game of the slate. This is the highest total of the slate. And I mean, Omari Spellman is going to be a guy with Looney off, who's going to play minutes at the 4 and 5. And I think, again, similar to what I said about Marquise Chris, I think we're going to be looking at like 25 minutes here, 23 to 25 minutes. I think that's great. Paschall's going to be the last guy getting minutes, but still, even at 3.2K, like these guys are so cheap, even to get to 6X, which is fantastic if you can lock in 18 points. I think all these guys can get to 18. I think Paschall's the least likely, but I think Chris and Spellman are damn near locks to get there. In this matchup. And also, I mean, considering that, I would love to look at the flow chart for this game. Let's go ahead and do it, because I actually haven't done that, looking at the flow chart for this Warriors game. Let me read. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so this is Add More Funds. This is where they have NBA Wowie at, just so you guys don't know. If you guys don't know that yet, please, go check them out. They're pretty sick. Okay, so we see that Chris started the 4th. None of their starters played the 4th. Chris comes in the 4th, plays half a stint. So we should see him, like I said, we should see this stint a little longer usually. Probably going to be more like, I would expect it to be more like 25 to 26 minutes there. And then you see that Spellman, he played most of the fourth, and so did Pascal. Those minutes are probably going to bump a little bit down. So I think that Chris is your guy here. I still think that Spellman is going to end up with like 22 minutes, 23 minutes off the bench. And at that price, that's a really, really good price to get Spellman at. Okay, I think I kind of beat that situation to death. I think they're all cash plays. I prefer, obviously, Chris, who should be basically a lock in your lineup. I also really like, so I'm seeing chalk on D'Angelo Russell, and I don't mind it. He shot really well in that first. Actually, he didn't shoot that well in that first game. I thought he was shooting really well in that first game. Basically, Russell's came in. He only ended with 33.5 in that game. That's pretty crazy. He started off so well in that game, so hot. I'm surprised that he's chalk. I mean, obviously, I don't think he's a bad play. Like I said, I think everyone in this game is a really high pace. This is a really high paced matchup. Everyone can get there for the Warriors. Not too high on Draymond Green getting there, but yeah, like I'm surprised that Russell is coming in chalk because I think that Curry is going to be dominating the usage on this team compared to Russell. So Curry's interesting because he didn't play the fourth. I think people are going to look at these box scores and be really scared of, oh, Steph Curry's only playing 30 minutes a game, and he's only shooting 40%. Well, first of all, Steph Curry is not going to shoot 40%. Secondly on that, he's not going to play 30 minutes. We're getting, if we go to fantasy point per minute wise, I think I wrote it down here, 1.23 fantasy points per minute so far this year. I think that's an inefficient Steph Curry we're looking at right there at 1.23 fantasy points per minute. But even if he is getting that, that's not that bad considering that we should see him closer to. Look at the stint he played. He played the full third quarter, out of the fourth because they lost by almost 30 points. We're gonna see him closer to 36 to 38 minutes. In these close games, in these games that they're gonna need him. They haven't played one yet. They got blown out by the Clippers, got blown out by the Thunder because their bench cannot keep them in games. If this game is closer, which I think it should be. I think we see Steph hit a ceiling here, and like I said in the very first time, when Steph was a cover boy last week, the usage is going to be massive for this guy this year on this team. So like him a lot. He's definitely going to be someone I'm considering for cash. On the Pelican side, have some interest here, especially if Drew is out. We should see some usage go towards Brandon Ingram, who already is dominating usage for this team so far this year, averaging over 20 shots per game, grabbing rebounds, averaging 9 rebounds per game. We've seen the price go up a decent amount, but in this matchup that should be back and forth, I think it's not high enough, especially, sorry, I have a little bit of a hiccup, if Drew is out. So I think he's in play in cash. If Lonzo starts, Lonzo's going to start, but if Drew is out, I would give Ball a boost. We saw him shoot a little bit more last time with Drew out, 13, 16 shots. I think we see a little bit more of that side of Lonzo in this game if he's out, and also Josh Hart is not priced high enough if Drew is out. If Drew is in, Josh Hart is just a decent value, not really too interested in him. I was interested in someone else on this team, I thought too, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just mostly those three. I don't mind the price on Favors, but the minutes have been a little bit iffy because Okafor is playing quite a bit off the bench and playing really well. Actually, not that much off the bench, but he is playing pretty well in his minutes. I just think that I'm a little bit worried about these minutes with Favors, and at 5.4K, it's like I think you get guys in the same range that are going to play more minutes, so probably would stay away from that on him. So that's pretty much covering that big game, and then I'll talk about the other spot that people are going to be interested in today. And I guess I can just look at it right here. Is James Harden and Russell Westbrook coming up against Oklahoma City? So interestingly, actually, I think a lot of people who watch NBA should know this, that Houston is going to actually have a pace down here against the Thunder. The Thunder, the team, are going to have the pace up. Let's pull up the total real quick. We have the total at 227, and the Rockets are favored by 10 points. I think that Westbrook still... So the thing about DraftKings right now is that a lot of these studs just aren't priced high enough. Even to get Westbrook has only risen 500 despite scoring 60 plus in both of his games. They're just not really raising these guys high enough. We'll talk about another one here in a second. But both these guys are in play. Like, we've seen Harden be extremely inefficient. If we see him start to hit his shot, he is going to explode. This is a game where he definitely could do that. Unfortunately, he's got another guy on his team that's basically playing a revenge game, and that adds some narrative to it. But we've seen Harden dominate the usage so far this year, and I think that's going to be the case. Obviously, Westbrook has gotten there both games with a triple-double in one of those games. I think they're both good plays. I think that Westbrook, because of the game logs, will be a little bit higher owned. So that would put me onto Harden for only 700 more. But like I said, I think both are very, very solid plays in a matchup against Oklahoma City. That should be pretty high scoring. And in terms of the Oklahoma City side, I'm mostly interested. I had no whites. It's right there. I can't click it. I'm mostly interested in the guards. Chris Paul is fine cash play, 7.4K. I don't mind that. And obviously a revenge game there as well. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he's shooting a ton. But I think that as mostly a shooter, he is grabbing lots of rebounds. That's solid. But I think that at this price, his upside's kind of capped. Despite how much he is shooting, I just think that I'd rather go with other options that have a higher ceiling around that price. So I don't mind him, but I think I'll be going elsewhere. Okay, moving on to another option as in terms of pay up is going to be Andre Drummond. There are a ton on this slate. I mean, I'm not even talking about Giannis because that game is expected to be a blowout, but there's no reason why Giannis couldn't be someone that you could play in cash if you think that game stays close and you think that he gets his normal minutes. He is actually a smash play in that scenario. However, Andre Drummond is not priced up high enough. He's dominated Miles Turner in the past. The Pacers are not running as high pace as we thought they were going to be running in terms of statistics so far, but they are expected to run at a decently fast pace this year. Like I said, it hasn't happened, so take that with a grain of salt. We would see a small usage bump for Drummond, assuming that Jackson is going to be out. I didn't pull up the fantasy points per minute, but I do know that he is a more solid offensive producer when he is out. Again, like we said in the past about Andre Drummond, like this is a 10K player that we're getting at just over 9K. I mean, Drummond is a guy who's going to average, especially with Blake Griffin out, like a 1.5 fantasy points per minute, if not more. He should be good for at least 36 minutes. We saw him at 25 in this game. That was because of foul trouble. He checked out early in the third quarter and then fouled out in the middle of the fourth, I think, or something like that when he checked back in. Like I said, he's good for 36 minutes. If he stays on the floor, which I don't see any problem him doing against Miles Turner. I really like Drummond this price. I think he is a cash game staple for me. Jokic is also in a pace-up spot too, and he's absolutely in play with Sacramento's lack of bigs. That's a big decision that you're going to have to make on this slate, talking about those two. But we just wanted to point out Drummond's price. Not that Jokic also isn't underpriced. Like I said, across the board on DraftKings, these studs are underpriced right now. It's giving you access to some really interesting builds because all of these guys are so cheap, and that's why we're seeing the scores be so high as well, is because a lot of the value is starting to move up to the right prices. And we're going to talk about some guys right here in this game. A lot of these guys just haven't been moved up in the Chicago-New York game. This is another game with two top 10 pace teams. Where is it at? Where is the total? Here it is. Totaled at 223.5. It's dropped half a point. That's fine. Both these two teams, they might not be the most efficient around, but they are. This is going to be a very exciting game to watch where they are going to get out and run, and they've got a bunch of young guys who can do that. Julius Randle's coming in a little bit chalky. However, Mitchell Robinson in the lineup doesn't really give me a bunch of interest at this price point. I just don't think that there is upside, of course. I mean, there's certainly upside here with Julius Randle, but man, I don't think I'm going to be paying that price for Randle in cash 8.3K when you have Drummond 1,000 higher. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me. So we have some interest in some lower price guys in this game. RJ Barrett has started to come down a little bit, and not a little bit. Sorry, he started at 5'9". I thought he started at like 6'5" to start the year. I guess I was just remembering that wrong. Still, regardless, at the past price on Barrett, I love the price now on RJ Barrett. He's been a fantasy point per minute producer. He's in a pace up matchup. He's got no one on defense I'm worried about in terms of the wings and guards for Chicago. And he's playing 37 minutes a game. So that's pretty great to see. If you're a fantasy point per minute producer playing 37 minutes a game, and also, you're shooting consistently, you're a very solid defender, getting 8 steals in 3 games. Obviously, a 6-steal game is pretty absurd, but I think that there is a bit of upside there, but I mostly would go to Barrett for cash. I love Mitchell Robinson, possibly as a cash play, definitely as a GPP play. I think this is another situation where people are probably going to look at this game log and look, oh, what the heck? He's not playing any minutes. I can't play him. Well, here's the thing. Mitchell Robinson has been dealing with an ankle sprain, and he's continued to be questionable, but he's definitely going to play in this game for one. I mean, he's considered probable at this point. He also played 20 minutes on Saturday, I think that we can assume that, well, he played 20 minutes in a blowout on Saturday. I think he actually got in a little bit of foul trouble, but he also, it might have been due to the ankle that he went to the bench in the third quarter, but he did go to the bench in the third quarter in this game. And then I don't know if he returned, but anyway, he only ended up getting 20 minutes in a bad situation. This is going to be a close game. Mitchell Rob is going to start, more than likely. And I think that we see him get closer to 24, 25 minutes in this game. Mitchell Robinson has produced 1.5 fantasy points per minute. Obviously, he's been extremely efficient, but at the same time, he is grabbing 6 rebounds in 20 minutes, 7 rebounds in 17 minutes. I think that we can definitely see a double-double here from Mitchell Robinson. And at that price, definitely could crush value at 5.6K. Very solid play. I wish that he was still down here at like 5.2K. That'd be awesome. But, yeah, he's not. I still think that he is a solid play. I think Marcus Morris, very solid point per minute producer. But I also really like down here Coby White. I actually had a really good, I don't know if I talked about it on a video or not. I think it might have been on Friday. Yeah, it was on Friday. With Coby White on Friday, that I had him in that game, pretty much unowned. People, DraftKings starting to price him appropriately, but he's actually the guard on the Chicago team that's been playing the most minutes, and people may not know that, but he's also, not only is he the guy who's playing the most minutes, he's also the guy who's shooting the ball the most out of these guards. He's the guy who will let it fly, and they're willing to let him just shoot his shots. That's what his defense isn't the greatest, so they're really bringing him in to be a scorer, and as opposed to Satoransky and as opposed to Chris Dunn, he can give them more of a spark offensively. Not no slight to Chris Dunn. I don't hate the guy. I think he's a pretty solid player. But Coby White has shot tremendously to start the year. And they want him off. I think they want him off that bench to give them a spark. Obviously, we see him against Toronto. He didn't shoot as well, but I think we can continue to expect 25 to 28 minutes for White off the bench. Guy who they're going to give a ton of run. A guy who's going to let the 3-pointers fly. Guy who can get to the rack. I like Coby White a lot in this game still. Obviously, the price is up, but I still think that he can hit value here. He has upside for more. Of course, I'm a little bit concerned about paying 5K for a guy who doesn't really have a ton of minutes upside. His minutes upside is like 30. But once you get below 5K, you're not really going to find those guys anyway who can give you minutes upside and shooting upside. So I think he's a solid combination of that, but I do think right above him we have Elfrid Payton at 5.1K. We're going to see Dennis Smith Jr. out, opening up extra guard minutes, possibly, maybe a little bit of Payton at the 1. I don't think that's extremely likely, but RJ Barrett is also going to be out there as well. Going to the Knicks last game, where is it? I have so many open from before this video that I can't find it. Oh, there it is. That's it. So we have Elfrid starting, coming in, and then he sat right here. I think that we can see him get closer to something like 34 minutes. And that's this thing with these Knicks, is that their minutes projections are a little bit off because they've been playing in blowouts, or they just played in a blowout. So, of course, you're always a little bit sketched out about Fizdale messing with these minutes, but I do think that with no guard depth, with Dennis Smith Jr. out, Nitikina, that's not the right you say his name, but I'm just going to say it like that. Ntilikina. I don't think that he's going to be someone that's going to threaten Payton for minutes, really. So I think they're going to want Payton on the floor with not a lot of guard depth, and that's going to bode well for him at this price at 5.1K. I think he's a very solid play as well. There's lots of other plays on this slate. Hopefully I gave you guys a decent one guy I want to talk about that I just have in all caps on my sheet. I don't really want to talk too much about him, but Mario Hezonja is 3.3K. We're seeing Zach Collins is out for this game. Hezonja played 25 minutes. Hezonja played 25 minutes in the last game. After Collins went down, he got a lot of those minutes. He also just played a lot in the fourth in general because they couldn't go to Collins. So I think Hezonja is the preferred option at the 4. Although we could also just see them go small, which gives extra minutes to Hood and Bazemore, who already like in terms of their price, if you look at projections, you're going to see Hood and Bazemore near the top because they are playing minutes and they are so cheap. They should be more like 4-5 in there. So these are guys, both these guys are guys that I could see playing in cash. But I don't love any of them. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys next time. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to comment. That helps out a ton. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe, and we will see you guys back here next time. And good luck tonight, everyone, on a busy 11-game slate. See you guys next time. Peace.